Welcome to AngelCon 2020. We are very excited to be running our event virtually this year. It is wonderful to see such an amazing attendance online. Thank you all for logging in. My name is Judy Mahan. I am the Economic Development Director of Cal Poly CIE. Before we jump in, I want to look back briefly at the evolution of our Angel Conference here on the Central Coast and explain how and why it all came about. The Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, CIE, has helped launch hundreds of startups, both on campus, off campus, through various entrepreneurship programs geared towards both graduating students and towards regional entrepreneurs at large, not necessarily affiliated with Cal Poly. One of our beacon programs for our local business community is our Small Business Development Center. Through the SBDC each year, we work with up to 500 startups and scaling businesses throughout our region. During the 2019 calendar year on the Central Coast, we assisted a core group of these startups in raising $18 million in capital funding. 80% of that capital came from angel groups and venture firms from outside of our Central California region. One of our key activities is helping companies prepare for and access capital funding. So a few years ago, we decided to play a bigger role in stimulating angel funding activity right here locally. Our thought was, what if we invited a group of local accredited investors who have never before been part of an angel group to invest in a fund, learn about startup investing, and actually make one annual investment in just one startup? Would it help jumpstart more funding activity? So that's what we did in 2017. I created our first fund called the 2018 Central California Angel Conference Fund. Long name, we've since changed it to AngelCon. Thank you, Charles, you know who you are. 20 investors participated. We raised $100,000. We met monthly for 6 months to hear from brilliant speakers and experts from Silicon Valley about reviewing startup pitches, doing due diligence, negotiating deal terms. We reviewed 44 startups who applied to be considered for the investment. At the 2018 conference event, the investor group chose to make their investment in a startup called Ulzi. Unfortunately, Ulzi has since dissolved, but our investors went on to make numerous investments in the other top 5 startup finalists. We saw outcomes beyond our expectations. More than $2 million in investments were made in our 6 finalists that year. Many of our investors so much enjoyed their experience that they decided to also join Slow Seed Ventures, our local angel group, and one of our sponsors for tonight's event. And last but not least, we had a genuine goal of showcasing San Luis Obispo as the entrepreneurship hub that it has truly become for startups in tech and innovation. It was all a huge success. So we did it again in 2019. Please check out our video at last year's event. So my name is Judy Mahan. I'm the director of the Cal Poly CIE Incubator and the Small Business Development Center. Welcome to our 2nd annual Central California Angel Conference,
where our region's most ambitious entrepreneurs are building the companies of tomorrow. From automotive marketplaces to fully convertible high heel shoes, and from snack foods to life-saving medical devices.
I feel like this community is one that takes pride in helping build businesses, making connections, and building the community from within to be stronger.
Duro Devices presents The Gateway, a simple solution to a debilitating problem. We took the most effective audio and visual cues Combine them into a simple, portable device that can attach onto any cane or walker.
Tastry is the first company to predict consumer preferences using chemistry. We have proven our technology works for wine, beer, spirits, fragrance, cannabis, coffee.
We have a process that allows us to bring the weight advantages of carbon fiber to parts that are traditionally made using other processes. And this is huge for our customers.
The city renewed our contract for an additional 5 years and purchased in excess of $400,000 of new equipment to help begin the creating a smart bus fleet.
So we decided to brand and actually patent the design on this so that we have a very clear branding to separate us from the rest of the folks.
But truly what sets us apart, what our sustained competitive advantage is our story. Not only are we the first to use these novel native superfoods in our snacks, we also tell the story of the rich cultures of the people who first used these life-giving foods.
Our Audience Choice Awards tonight, pastry. The winner of the $100,000 investment tonight is the Euro Devices. Woo! 2019 was a great year. Last year's investor group chose to make their investment in a startup called Euro Devices. And our top 6 startups from last year also raised just over $2 million in capital funding, and we're still tracking their progress. So glad you're all here with us to do this again in 2020. Thank you to our exclusive sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank, and our key sponsors, Slow Seed Ventures, Relentless Management, and Trotta Ventures. We could not accomplish any of this without you. Thank you so much. Now let's hear from last year's Angel Conference winner, Sydney Collins, CEO of Euro Devices. Come on stage, Sydney.
Hi, everybody. Before I give you an update on Euro Devices, the company, I would like to let 2 of our customers give an introduction on NextRide, the product that we have brought to market.
I would describe living with Parkinson's a big challenge, sometimes grueling.
It's a very humbling disease. I mean, you're humbled because you know you got your own independence. All of a sudden, you don't have it anymore. You want to take a step and you can't.
I see Barbara struggle most with the freezing.
Freezing of gait is the inability to initiate stepping. It can be a feeling of your feet being glued to the floor or stuck in concrete.
My fear of freezing of gait causes me to over-restrict pleasures I can get out of the day and going places.
If you're free all your life to get up and go and you can't, it's very frustrating.
Take back your freedom with NextStride. Attach NextStride to your cane, walker, or walking poles, and place 2 cues for overcoming freeze at your fingertips. NextStride features an audio cue metronome with adjustable volume and tempo controls, and a visual cue laser light with dual-axis adjustable positioning to help you keep moving. With NextStride at your side, you're ready to take the next step.
The first time I used NextStride, it was amazing because the laser light went on and it was like a go signal. I just stepped over it. It was amazing. I could take 4 or 5 steps, no problem.
With NextStride, I like its versatility for me. I'll either use the one sound for the visual cue or maybe both together.
The NextStride is nice in that it's easily accessible, easy for them to turn on and off. It's right there when they need it to help them not freeze, stop a freeze, or get out of a freeze.
So they can work a cane, they can work on walking sticks, they can work on a walker. Very flexible.
NextStride can give people back their mobility in their life, essentially, and keep them active, which is a key part of managing their symptoms of Parkinson's, is to stay as active as possible, as safely as possible.
NextStride really gives me a lot of confidence in times when I wouldn't maybe leave the house, go for an extended walk. I took a walk on the beach, and I could set this consistent speed with my stride with metronome sound, and it was delightful.
To go out to eat, to get out into nature, to just engage with the world is easier now.
Your independence is back. It's key. A little bit back, but it's back.
Those two are local to the Central Coast. One lives down in Lompoc and one up in Cayucos. So we are lucky to have them. So now that you've heard a little bit about the next stride, I'll give you a quick update on the company before you hear from the exciting 6 new startups this year. So after participating in AngelCon last year and winning $100,000 in investment, we ended up closing our first fundraising round within a month. We had to set some aggressive goals for that first fundraising round, and we were actually able to accomplish all of our milestones under budget and in less time than expected. We were able to file a US patent as well as PCT to protect our IP. We finished product development, designed for manufacturing, and actually completed all of the validation and verification testing that we needed in order to get a medical device to market. We also set up our quality management system with our manufacturing partner up in Fremont, California, and completed our first build in order to ship out our first units to our pre-order customers. Now, in order to help get the device out to everybody who needs it, while we're still pursuing reimbursement, we developed a partnership with the Parkinson's Wellness Fund to subsidize the next stride for anybody who needs financial assistance. Our first round of funding essentially allowed us to get to market. After completing our milestones, we raised a seed round of funding with the main goal of nailing down our customer acquisition strategy. We just recently closed this round in April of 2020. We'll use this funding to test out all of our sales and marketing assumptions and to pursue insurance coverage. We've already started to go through that reimbursement pathway and are partnering with Sutter Health to get the data we need to show the efficacy that we need to show insurance companies to get coverage. We also hired a rock star director of supply chain to help get our cost of goods down as we scale up manufacturing in the process. She has over 10 years of experience in supply chain management and business operations at Apple and Cisco. We're lucky to have her on board. The next stride is officially available for purchase on our website as of April of this year. You can imagine, with everything going on with the COVID crisis, aka why we're here doing this virtually right now, that April is not the best time to launch a product. Luckily, we were able to pivot quickly and focus all of our attention on our one specific channel of direct online marketing. Now, we're just now starting to open up some of the other marketing channels or sales channels that we were planning on using to sell the product, including our physical therapy demo channel, and we're starting to participate in some virtual conferences. Now, even though we had not anticipated using distributors until at least 2021, we've had a few distributors actually reach out to us asking to be able to sell the next stride as they're getting requests for it. So we're starting to test out that channel as well. As we start to sell in California, we want to make sure that we have direct communication with our customers. A recent survey that we took resulted in us gaining some great efficacy and satisfaction data from our customers. Of our customers who have used the product for over a month, 100% have reported increased confidence while walking when using the next stride, and 93% have reported decreased fear of falling. 64% have reported that the amount that they are walking has increased. Now, this is a really important metric because Parkinson's disease is a progressive disease. So it gets worse as you go on. Now, exercise is the only thing that has been shown to slow the progression of Parkinson's disease, showing that we can increase the amount that people are getting up and moving and feeling comfortable getting up and moving is a huge metric for our success, as well as to show reimbursement companies that they should cover our product. Now, I am so grateful to be a part of AngelCon and to get the support of local investors. We are looking forward to growing the company with the startup community here in SLO. Now with that, I want to leave you with a video that I received from one of our customers just last week of him using the NextStride for the first time. Thank you.
Bob with his new NextStride. Are you gonna fall? He's laughing. He's crying. He's happy. Say thank you, Nikki. Aww.
Thank you, Sydney. We are so proud of you and your team. Such a great cause, very inspiring. Thank you so much. We're now going to take a short break, and when we return, our top 6 finalists will start their pitches. Now is the time to grab a snack, a drink, and I will meet you right back here to introduce you to our first startup finalist. Welcome back. Before we launch into the first pitch, I wanted to go over a few ways you can interact virtually during this event. First, please use the chat located on the right-hand side of your screen. Tell us where you are joining us from and give shout-outs to the finalists. We will be sharing your words of encouragement to the companies at the bottom of the screen throughout the event. Next, our investor group will be selecting the winner of AngelCon 2020. But we're also inviting you all to vote for your favorite startup that will receive the Audience Choice Award. This year, we stepped it up a notch and we created a GoFundMe campaign to support the startup that wins the Audience Choice Award. Thank you to Pacific Premier Bank for sponsoring the campaign. Anyone from the audience can donate to this campaign to support our contestants. Instructions on how to donate online are up on your screen, posted in the chat, and always available below in the YouTube event description. Voting for the Audience Choice Award will begin after all the companies have pitched. So for now, head on over and donate to the GoFundMe campaign. We will track donations and keep you updated on the dollar amount raised at the bottom of the screen until we announce the winner. You can find all event information and live links to everything we have mentioned in the YouTube event description right below this video screen. The information will stay up for the entire duration of our event, so check it out. Now, we have the logistics taken care of. We are so excited to present our very first startup, Baby Barista. Please welcome Kara Armstrong, founder and CEO, and Rob Shalhoub, COO.
Hello, I'm Kara Armstrong.
And I'm Rob Shalhoub. We're the co-founders of Baby Barista, and we're on a mission to make baby formula simple.
I'm an emergency room nurse and mother of 3. My youngest daughter, Mia, was born with Down syndrome, and like many babies with her condition, was unable to breastfeed. One morning at 3 a.m., holding a crying and hungry Mia in one arm, while I struggled to assemble the contents of a bottle with my one free hand, I glanced at the coffee maker on my kitchen counter and I thought to myself, wow, this is unfair. I can have coffee at the touch of a button in under a minute, but my poor baby girl is crying for 15 minutes waiting for her bottle to be ready. And in that moment, the idea and the inspiration for Baby Barista was born. I set out to invent a machine that would make the perfect bottle every time in under 30 seconds. And by that, I mean the right formula to water concentration, the right temperature, and no bubbles. And you know what? I did it. And here it is. This is Baby Barista. Bottle making is aggravating and time-consuming. Traditional bottle making requires multiple steps. Baby Barista eliminates those steps, making the perfect bottle in under 30 seconds every time. You know what? Just for fun, why don't we make a bottle right now? Now, I want you to imagine it's 3 a.m. You're exhausted. You hear your baby start to cry. You roll over, grab your phone, and touch a button that says Make Bottle. By the time you make it to the kitchen, your bottle's ready. No mess, no fuss. Your baby's happy, and you are 15 minutes closer to getting back to bed.
We have just one notable competitor. Baby Barista is superior in so many ways. But let me point out just one key difference. Baby Barista is a completely aseptic system. This means that formula never touches the internal components of the machine. All of the mixing occurs in an external chamber that's dishwasher safe, easily cleaned, and conveniently attaches to the machine magnetically. All of this technology is patent protected. By contrast, the competitor's machine mixes formula with water right in the center of the machine. So to avoid contamination, they require their users to disassemble and hand wash multiple components after every 4th bottle. So for most small babies, that means twice a day, which completely negates the convenience of having a machine in the first place. But Baby Barista is more than just a machine. It's an entire system of products that simplify formula feeding. We sell the machine as a one-time purchase, and we sell formula as a monthly subscription. Our connected app enables mom and dad to prepare bottles from anywhere, track their baby's feedings, and manage their formula supply. The result is a novel and innovative customer experience, the likes of which no other formula brand can offer. And our timing couldn't be any better. Millennial and Gen Z parents demand simplicity. According to Siegel and Gale, 55% of consumers are willing to pay a premium for simple customer experiences, and 64% will recommend a brand that can offer one. We see Baby Barista among the many great companies pioneering this revolution. Baby Barista is perfect for parents, grandparents, and caregivers. But we're sensitive to the fact that 90% of purchasing decisions are still made by moms. So, who is our target mom? She's college educated, career oriented, middle to high income. She lives in an urban or suburban environment and has an engaged co-parenting partner. And while mom is the final decision maker, we know there are other strong influences in her life, namely her pediatrician, her own mom, and her co-parent. Reaching these different audiences plays an important role in our marketing strategy. But it's our job to elevate the Baby Barista brand and to build trust with mom. And to do that, we will meet her at virtually every touch point in her life in the prenatal and neonatal phases. Obviously, the global formula market is massive and it's growing. But for the first 5 years, we intend to serve the US market exclusively. So let's take a closer look. The total addressable market in the US is $5.2 billion. This includes all babies born in the US, whether they drink formula or breast milk. About half of the market is comprised of known infant formula sales, or $2.6 billion. Baby Barista competes directly for share of the liquid formula category, which is currently $1 billion and growing at more than 8% annually. So let's dive into the business model. As I just mentioned, we sell the machine as a one-time purchase, and our customers subscribe for a monthly shipment of formula. We anticipate it will cost $75 to acquire each customer, and our average customer subscribes for 17 months. So the total lifetime value of our products is $3,360. Zooming out, here's a look at our 5-year projected P&L. We believe that by year 5, we can achieve more than $30 million of EBITDA on $200 million of revenue.
While we fully intend to launch Baby Barista as a direct-to-consumer business, it's worth mentioning that last year we met with senior buyers at 5 major North American retailers, and I have you, they were unanimously excited about putting Baby Barista on their shelves. We see this not only as validation of our value proposition, but it also paves the way for future retail expansion. So I want to share with you where we are today. We've raised money from friends and family, a seed round from friends and family that believed in our vision. We have a fully functioning prototype that's protected by 3 patents. We've made considerable progress with supply chain partners, and we have the interest of major North American retailers. And not only that, we're generating a ton of organic publicity. In 2018, I was honored as a fearless mom on ABC's television show, The View. And this month, Baby Barista was named one of California's top design innovations and was featured on a new CBS TV show called California by Design. Now let's talk about our team. As I mentioned, I'm an emergency room nurse by trade, and I'm the inventor of Baby Barista. Rob is an incredibly talented and versatile operator. He spent 20 years developing customer experiences, digital media, and clean energy technologies. Lisa's our CFO. She keeps us organized and compliant, and she's really good at it, and us entrepreneurs need that organization. Judd is a rock star salesman. He brought the #1 and #2 organic baby food lines to Canada. And Doug is a brilliant strategist and general counsel. He holds a JD MBA, and he's been a senior executive in both public and private businesses. But you know, there's a lot of pieces to the Baby Barista puzzle. So we've engaged a strategic advisory board to guide us in the areas of infant nutrition, product development, manufacturing, digital strategy, and technology. One of my governing philosophies on team building is cognitive diversity, and I feel so lucky to have attracted a team of people that have such key talent, and they each uniquely contribute to the Baby Barista mission.
We're currently raising $1.25 million to accelerate product development, supply chain, and to expand our IP portfolio. In about 6 months, we'll be raising an additional $7.5 million to build out our systems and to begin manufacturing our products in preparation for launching in July 2021. We've seen similar businesses exit at more than 6 times revenue. For example, Dollar Shave Club, with $150 million of revenue, sold to Unilever for $1 billion. SodaStream, with $540 million of revenue, sold to PepsiCo for $3.2 billion. We are confident that crossing a disruptive revenue threshold will compel one of the big formula makers to pursue an acquisition. And it also stands to reason that Baby Barista would be an excellent line extension for a whole variety of small appliance manufacturers.
At Baby Barista, our mission is clear. Parenting is hard enough. Formula should be simple.
On behalf of Slow Seed Ventures, San Luis Obispo County's only organized angel investing group, welcome to the 2020 Central California Angel Conference. We are proud and pleased for the third straight year to be a supporter and sponsor of this entrepreneurial investment conference, where early stage companies engage with both seasoned and new angel investors. Our group of 20 to 30 successful entrepreneurs and business people was formed in 2012. Since then, we've invested somewhere between $50,000 and $500,000 in 14 separate companies, some receiving 2 or 3 separate rounds from us. Our focus remains high growth, early stage companies with a preference for locally grown entities as part of our economic development mission. As members of the Angel Capital Association, we provide access for continuing education for investors and an opportunity for syndicating larger deals with other angel groups and accredited individual investors all over the U.S. Please visit our website and send us a chat message for more information. Thank you.
Amazing pitch. Karen, Rob, great job. Thank you also to one of our event sponsors, Slow Seed Ventures. Next up, we have Trent Ellingson, CEO of Atlas Alpha.
My name is Trent Ellingson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Atlas Alpha Incorporated. And what I've built here is a marketplace disguised as a social network. Let me tell you why. I've seen an opportunity where everyone making an important decision always goes to the same 3 steps. They talk to people they trust, they do some research on their own, and then make the purchase. So as an example, I ride my bike to work every day, so I commute, and so I might go to a Facebook group and ask, what's a good beginner road bike that I can buy? I'll take those recommendations, I'll go to YouTube, watch the reviews for it, and then ultimately make the purchase. Now, even though I spent 95% of my time in those first 2 steps, they don't get a cut of the revenue. Now that seems like a big opportunity. So what I built is a platform that encompasses all 3 of those steps: the discussion, the research, and the purchase, so that we make a cut of the revenue. And I could show you this through an example. So let's take board games this time. Now, if I'm talking about board games like I played Catan with my friend Phil, as I'm typing that in the discussion, it auto-completes the product's name with a link to it and my friend Phil. So he gets tagged to talk to me too. This then creates a thread of discussions where every product is listed and linked to. So no longer as a new user do I need to have a Google tab open to look up all the terminology and the products themselves. They are linked directly in the conversation. That is a great user experience. When people click on these, it opens up the product page, which has everything needed to make a purchase decision. It's got the images, it's got the videos, it's got the information, it's got tons of user reviews, and it's got all the retailers that sell that product. And when people click on that, we get a 3 to 6% cut of each of those sales. And what's even better is that's just the test. We're going to be launching a marketplace to sell directly on the platform, and so we'll have a 10 to 30% cut that we can take at that point. Now, we launched this in January of 2019, and we already have 130,000 monthly active users. We're making about $12,000 a month in monthly revenue. And 30% is advertising, but the majority is those affiliate sales, that revenue share model that I shared. Now, if we look at this growth over time, you can see that most of it happened in the last 8 months. And there's a big jump between September and October, but I'll get to that in one moment. Let's look at this red line first. The red line is revenue, and it kind of follows a trend that you would expect. In holiday spending, there's a big peak. Then afterwards, there's a bit dip. And then with coronavirus, discretionary is down, so it's down. Now, the exciting part is the blue line. That's monthly active users, and that has been growing and growing and growing. And so when the economy turns around, we will have a huge customer base ready for it. Now let's go back to September, October. What happened there? So at that point, we had finalized the agreements with about 22 of our retailers. That's the first thing that happened. The second thing is we saw a big growth opportunity called forums. And I'm talking about those ones from 2001 that look like Craigslist built social networks. And people are still going to those today. And this is what they look like. This isn't a screenshot from 2001. This is from recently. And these forums exist for over 400 things, for sports, hobbies, activities, golf, biking, board gaming, sewing, music production. Tons and tons of people are going to these forums. Over 40 million are active on these forums. Why? Why don't they go to Facebook? They use these forums because they want a deeply engaging experience instead of just a way to fill time while they're in line at Starbucks. And that's what these deliver. So what we bring is the perfect execution of modern UI and deep engagement. But what brings people over from those forums to our platform? How do they find out about us? That's also very exciting. We hire those admins that work at those forums. So meet Carol. She volunteers her time for the last 12 years at our first category in one of those forums that we have. And she is an expert. She is influential. She is also very affordable. She works about 60 hours a month, and we pay about $960 for that. And she's moderating, she's managing our database of products and a whole bunch of other things. But the important thing on top of that is that she is a power user herself, and she's got lots of friends who are power users, and she's talking and bringing them over to our platform. And there is a Carol in every single category, for every single sport, for every single hobby on these forums. You can see it for yourself. You can look up the bikeforums.net. They'll have the admin list, the moderator list of people volunteering their time. And so we're going to take that and use it. So first step, get to product market fit within our first category. And we're expecting, based on user growth and user feedback, to get there by this summer, very soon. What we're going to do is then launch into 4 new categories, hiring those Carols and growing our market. Once we have the ideal feature, step 1, product market fit, and the playbook in how to launch into a new market, step 2, we're going to just execute upon that. We're going to grow the team, scale up, and just march on. With that, we're learning everything we need to learn about these markets. We're doing the manual integration with Strava, with Apple Watch to make those deep, engaging experiences. But beyond that, the next unlock comes. We're going to make an API-based scaling solution. So you can think of Slack, where Slack, a company can have a bunch of integrations that are different from another company to make it unique. Same thing for the Atlas platform. If a rock climber wants to be able to have an Atlas-style community, she can go and integrate with our API and make an Atlas-style community with deep, engaging, modern user interfaces. And so that's what we're going to get into our platform, to be able to go beyond the early adopters, the niche users, into the mass market and grow this to be a huge social platform. And we're basing these user numbers on other specialized social platforms like ours that have exited successfully, 6 of which have been in the last 2 years. Now we're raising $250,000 to get there. We've already raised $130,000, so I'm here at AngelCon, essentially coming to finish out the round. Now, we've got 3 primary ways that we're going to be using this to increase revenue. First is to grow the user base. The second is to grow the revenue per user. That's through that marketplace I mentioned earlier, launching that feature. And the third is hiring a bunch of more Carols. So going and growing the total addressable market through new categories. And we've got the right team to do that. So I'm the technical co-founder, and I've got tons of experience in software engineering, 6 of which were at MindBody, as a software engineer for 4 years, as a manager for 2 years, and I was on the team that scaled the consumer app from 0 to 2 million users. My co-founder, Phil, is in charge of marketing. He joined me after I had done a bit of work, and within 3 months, and with no prior knowledge, 3 to 4 months, he grew to become an expert with his own influence in the community, building connections to all the major retailers and publishers and growing our user base 8x. He has been absolutely phenomenal to join the team. And Carol, who I've described already pretty well, she's great in terms of bringing competitive knowledge and her power user friends. Now, in support, we've got Trevor Thomas Arribe, who's part of Kern Venture Group, who's invested in our company already. He's put to work $200 million in investments already, 6 of which of those companies have exited. One that I really like is a podcasting company called Gimlet Media, sold to Spotify for $200 million themselves. Super cool stuff. We got Chet Brandenburg, former CTO, co-creator of MindBody. We've got Kurt Friedman, who I met through the Hot House. He's got over 20 years of experience in sales, business, entrepreneurship. And so we've got a well-rounded team and good support on both product and business to make this work. So in summary, there is a huge opportunity that we have. We've got an amazing team to execute on this. We already have some significant traction, and we are raising $250,000 to hit our next milestone and go beyond and grow really quickly. So if you want to invest in the future of hobbies and activities, invest in Atlas today. Thank you.
Hello from Slow Brew Rock, site of this year's 3rd annual Central California Angel Conference. My name is John Townsend, Executive Director of the Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We are pleased to host the Small Business Development Center and AngelCon 2020, streaming out to all of you live from us here at Slow Brew Rock. As many of you know, periods of economic downturn challenge us all, but they're also well known for being periods of innovation and the starting point for some of the world's most successful startup companies. I would like to congratulate this year's finalists as they venture forward and continue that trend. AngelCon has always attracted an impressive group of startup founders, and this year is no exception. We applaud these founders for starting their companies to solve real problems at a period of time where we also could use some economic development throughout our region. Cal Poly CIE thanks you for your support, and we welcome you to an inspiring and entertaining AngelCon 2020.
Thank you, John, for sharing more about the CIE and the opportunities it provides for our local startup community. And great job, Trent, on your pitch. Now let's hear from Sean Allen, CEO and co-founder of WiseFi.
WiseFi is an intelligent budgeting solution. Budgeting apps are insufficient today. And unfortunately, it's going to cost millions of Americans hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sure, Mint was great back in 2009 when the only other option for managing your money was an Excel spreadsheet. And it's true that they have proven the business model, companies like Mint with more than 40 million downloads and some successful exits north of $100 million each. But it's 2020 and it's time for a new solution for money management. It's time to utilize current technology capabilities along with behavioral finance in order to help people really make the most of their money. And this is so needed today. You can look at 2019 data and think that the economy was doing really well, but if you look at the data under the hood, the story is something different. Today, 75% of millennials have consumer debt and 46% of them have no savings at all. The average net worth of a millennial is 34% less than the previous generation, which is a problem because the average person entering retirement today has only $172,000 saved, even though they're going to need $700,000 just to maintain their same lifestyle. And that's why 53% of baby boomers are delaying retirement. Online Budgeting 1.0 helps people see their financial past. They can track their past spending, but it doesn't give them a look at how that spending is going to impact their future. Online Budgeting 2.0 will include predictive modeling, which will give people a view of their financial future so that they can see what their money can become in the future. Hi, I'm Sean Allen, and I recruited this amazing team to come help me because I've been in finance for nearly 30 years in roles ranging from financial planner to CEO, and I discovered years ago that there is a big problem in finance, and that particular problem is one that I've shared with this team, and it's one where the average American is going to feel broke most of their life, and they're going to walk into retirement and actually be broke. And this is the team that I have recruited to help me fix that problem. I've run companies in investment planning and in insurance and in mortgage lending. I founded a mortgage bank. I've seen thousands of client cases. And I know that most wealth is lost in the way people manage their spending. It's not that people don't earn enough income in their lifetime. It's that they don't know how to best manage the income that they've earned. They don't understand how the choices that they're making today are going to potentially delay their retirement date. With what we're building at WiseFi, we believe that we can make the retirement date irrelevant. People will be able to reach financial freedom when they want to. Because at WI, we developed a program to do exactly that, and it's effective. Of the people who have used WiseFi, they've been able to eliminate debt 78% faster. They've also been able to attain financial freedom 15 years earlier, and they've been able to increase their future net worth by more than 300%. And it's simple to use. Users sync WiseFi with their financial accounts. WiseFi will then assess and organize all of that information into strategic categories, and then it will provide a guideline for how much money to spend in each category. Then WiseFi will take them through a discovery phase where they can see their financial future based on the way they have been spending their money. And unfortunately for a lot of people, that means delaying retirement. The good news is WiseFi also shows them what their wealth potential is if they follow the built-in guideline, which usually shows that they can actually reach retirement or financial freedom 6 years earlier. There are 3 key components to our competitive advantage. Number 1 is the WiseFi guideline, which works like a GPS for your money. Number 2 is predictive modeling. Predictive modeling is what are advanced algorithms that help people see their financial future in a whole new light. And number 3 is visual programming, which is critical. WiseFi shows people graphical illustrations of what their financial future looks like, and this begins to reshape the way they think about their own money. And this is important because wealth begins in our minds and it ends in our behaviors. Our target market right now are the 27 million millennials with consumer debt. And the reason we're going after this group is because they already have a proven track record of utilizing technology to manage their money, and they're the group that has the greatest need. Our first phase is to go capture 11,000 of them in our first 12 months, which will bring us $100,000 of monthly recurring revenue. Our one-to-many business model is unique, and we're excited about 2 particular features of it. One is our referral program, and the other is our financial coaching platform. Our referral program is something that we launched with our alpha version, where we were able to test several things and had some spectacular results that I'll share with you in a moment. The financial coaching platform is particularly important today because financial coaches, for one thing, come with between 10 and 100 clients that they bring with them, and those clients bring friends and family with them that they refer over because of our referral program. But financial coaches are really important to the financial services system today because financial coaches are the only ones that are helping with budgeting and debt elimination, which are 2 things that people are going to be facing a great deal over the next several years. The other thing is, that's where WiseFi really shines, especially because WiseFi has a built-in debt elimination tool that sorts people's debt in the order they should pay it off in order to be most efficient and pay the least amount of interest. But financial coaches don't have a good tool. Unfortunately, they believe that budgeting apps are as insufficient as we do, and that's why most of them use Excel with their clients. So it was only natural that I use my experience in our program and create a platform for financial coaches. What we've done is we've created an online community, and then we've gone out and we've started inviting coaches to join us in this community. And we opened up the community on May 3rd. We expected we'd have about 480 people that would request to join, but we had 829. We then released a course that teaches how to use WiseFi to grow a successful business. It's built around a system that I developed and used to build a multi-7-figure business. It's one I've taught to hundreds of other financial professionals, and we've reshaped the entire course specific to financial coaches. We thought we'd have about 48 of them sign up for this course, but we've had 324 sign up for this course. You're looking at a page right now of people that are commenting in our community about their thoughts on the program and of our group. As you can see, there's a lot of love happening in our group right now, and I appreciate all the love, but we're just getting started. We still have a database of 21,000 that we have yet to reach out to invite to our group. Our revenue model includes 2 pieces. One is for WiseFi. It's a subscription model. It's $9 a month for the users. Later this year, we'll be rolling out WiseFi Pro for professionals who use WiseFi with their clients, which we will have an introductory price of $47 a month. While there are a lot of different revenue opportunities for us down the road, right now our future projections are only calculating Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi Pro, which lead us to about $400 million in our 5th year. So far, we've completed alpha where we captured 400 users in our first 30 days, and of those 400, 88% of them came from our referral program that I was referring to earlier, so we know it works really well. Our next steps are to launch Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi Pro and to recruit the team to do it, and we want to capitalize on this time right now when there's a lot of great talent available, and that's what we're raising money for. We are raising $500,000, of which we've already raised $155,000, so that we can scale up to 11,000 users on Wi-Fi, which will bring in $99,000 of monthly recurring revenue. There are two things that will make Wi-Fi successful. One is that we build a program that people really need, which is something that helps them make the most of their money. And the second thing is we're creating a platform where people can actually earn more money. People can come from no experience and learn how to become a financial coach in an environment where people are going to be looking for new ways to make money. But Wi-Fi is not just a budgeting app. It is a money management tool that I believe is revolutionary and is going to impact a lot of lives, and it happens to be something I believe America needs right now. And I really hope that you'll join us on our journey. Thank you.
Great job, Sean. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you to our lead event sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank. Thank you so much. Next, we have Ian Klein, CTO, and Mahdi Abu Omar, founder and president of Sparrow Renewables. They're on stage next. Thank you.
We are Sparrow Renewables, a technology company that creates plant-based products as substitutes for what we make today from petroleum. Our platform technology has two major applications that we're focused on today: a natural vanilla solution and a recyclable plastic. We've built the modern world around us on petroleum. It's not just gasoline. It's in all the products around us, such as our cars, the electronic gadgets we use, as well as on us in the clothes that we wear and in the cosmetics that we use, and it's even in us. Yes, did you know that 95% of the vanilla that we use today is from petroleum and synthetic? Vanilla is the second largest flavoring in the world after chocolate. This is not sustainable from an environmental point of view, as well as from an economic sustainability. So imagine a product that has the same advantages that we built the modern world around, but is renewable and is economically sustainable. This is really the core of what we do at Sparrow Renewables. We have created a platform technology just like petroleum. Hundreds of products can be made from plant-based materials using our technology, all the way from flavorings to fuels. We have focused on two applications for our platform technology to start with, and that's a natural vanilla solution and a recyclable plastic. These are the two technology products that our CTO, Dr. Ian Klein, is going to highlight for you, the technology and business developments we've done so far.
Vanilla is the second largest flavoring after chocolate. It represents a large and growing $1 billion industry. Today, 95% of vanilla is produced synthetically from petroleum. This is represented by the large red circle. Vanilla from the vanilla bean only represents a very small percentage of the market. And you might ask me, Ian, why don't we just grow more vanilla beans to solve the problem? And the simple answer is that we cannot. Vanilla beans require very demanding growing conditions, and they have already caused significant deforestation in Madagascar. There has to be a better way to make natural vanilla. And we have a better way at Sparrow. At Sparrow, we have developed patent-pending technology where we begin with natural and abundant corn fiber and we extract an ingredient which is then fermented into vanilla, making vanilla the same way that it is made inside of the vanilla bean. We have completed development of our technology on the lab scale, and we are ready to scale up. There are many advantages to our technology, and I want to highlight that our cost of production is 1/2 the cost of our competition. So where are we on our journey to commercialization? We have completed validation of our technology on the lab scale, and we're scaling up. We've put together a process model for a 1,000 metric ton per year production facility. This process has been validated by the 2 largest manufacturers, Solvay and Cargill, under NDA. We are currently negotiating with Cargill to form a major joint development project. We have purchase orders for our product with the intent to purchase much more. Now, this 1,000 per year metric ton production facility will generate $70 million in revenue with projected $40 million margin. As a technology licensing company, we will generate revenue by licensing this technology. Licensing of this technology with one manufacturing facility will generate $5 million revenue to Sparrow per year. Based on our conversations with multiple flavoring companies such as BASF and MAN, we know that the market can easily support a second manufacturing facility, increasing revenues to Sparrow to $10 million per year. So what remains to be done? We need to validate our technology on an industrial scale, and we have planned and scheduled, starting in July, a manufacturing campaign where we will scale up our vanilla process and validate it on an industrial scale. Through this manufacturing campaign, we will generate large volumes of our product which can be given to our customers. We will also get all of the numbers we need to license this commercially at the 1,000 ton per year scale. This manufacturing campaign will last 2 months at a cost of $250,000. After this campaign, we will be ready to license our technology, generating revenues as early as 2022. We will use these revenues as a stepping stone to step into the larger plastics markets. Petroleum-based plastics are very large markets, and unfortunately, they were never designed to be recycled. Every year, we make enough petroleum-based plastics to fill 300 Empire State Buildings with plastic, but only 7% of that is recycled. The rest is thrown away. Now, imagine if we could make a product with these same high-tech plastic properties, but it was sustainable, recyclable, and completely renewable, and cost competitive. And this is what we have developed at Sparrow. At Sparrow, we have developed a technology to deconstruct wood shavings into the building blocks of plastics. We then reform these building blocks to form structural plastics, such as those shown in this automotive composite picture. Our plastics meet the properties and specifications of BPA-based petroleum plastics, but our plastics are sustainable, recyclable, and renewable, properties that are not found in the current marketplace. We have 2 pending patents on the wood deconstruction technology owned by Sparrow and 1 exclusive licensing option from UC Santa Barbara. Our plastics fall into the large $25 billion per year thermoset market. To push this technology forward, we have secured $3.6 million in grants from the Department of Energy, which provide non-dilutive capital to Sparrow over a 3-year period. We are also in the process of negotiating a $700,000 joint development project with a major chemical company. Our business model here is very similar to vanilla. We will generate revenue by licensing our technology. These plastics will be used in large volume applications such as automotive and wind turbine industry. We envision this technology growing to touch $3 billion worth of products, generating $90 million of revenue to Sparrow.
Thank you, Ian. These technologies did not get developed in vacuum. As the CEO and the founder, I am blessed to have a very strong team that we put together at Sparrow Renewables with technologists and business-minded people with expertise in chemistry, engineering, and ag business. The one thing that I want to point out is our team has expertise in doing joint development with multinationals, as well as doing technology licensing. We've been very fortunate to have a board and advisors with background and expertise from the petroleum industry, as well as the chemical industry and the flavor and fragrance industry. To recap all this accomplishment and growth, and to highlight for you the investment opportunity here, we've developed this platform technology that we put multiple patents around it. We've been able to support that through a $3.6 million non-dilutive grants, and we're in the process of negotiating 2 strategics at very significant level. This leaves us needing about $500,000 to be raised to take us to revenue generation. We have $350 committed, and we certainly hope that the angels here come in to round this up with $150,000. As Ian explained, our business model is technology licensing, and that allows us to stay nimble, keep the cost down, and start generating profits and revenue rapidly, and be able to grow with multiple exit options. As we laid out for you here, as soon as in a year from now, we will be able to get $5 million revenue annually from the vanilla licensing technology, growing to 10 million. And as we start licensing our plastic technology in niche markets, growing it to touch 3 billion worth of products, we should grow to nearly $100 million per year with multiple exit options, including the vanilla licensing that would allow us to return to the investors from this round approximately 17x on the investment. I thank you for the opportunity and for the consideration, and I hope you join the Sparrow team and become part of our investment family. Thank you very, very much.
Entrada is a proud sponsor of AngelCon 2020. Entrada is a venture fund that leads early-stage investments with a focus on the Central Coast. Founded by veteran operators and investors, we help our portfolio companies build great foundations for growth. Entrada Ventures, central to success.
Thank you very much, Ian and Madi. We'd also like to thank Entrada Ventures for being a part of this special event as one of our sponsors. We are so appreciative. Thank you so much. Next up is Sam Saxena, CEO of Greenlight Labs.
Climate change is killing us, and our addiction to oil makes change slow. Millennials believe it's up to them to solve this problem, and so when it comes time to buy a car, they want greener cars. But many of them are getting stuck in the car buying process. After all, buying a car is complex. We each have our own needs, preferences, budgets, and constraints. There's so much information to juggle, who's got the time? And if you're thinking of going with a greener car, like a hybrid or an electric car, it's even more complicated. There's added questions like, will the fuel savings outweigh the upfront costs? For electrics, can I make my trips? Where do I charge? And more. Consumers are experiencing information chaos. They just can't get the answers they need. And so many just end up choosing a conventional car, the familiar choice. And our smog and climate problems just keep getting worse. This information chaos, that's the problem we're solving. And to solve that problem, our company is providing the most trusted car buying coach at your fingertips, ultimately to drive the uptake of greener cars. We're providing our users with personalized car comparison advice in a way that readily scales to millions of car buyers each year by applying our Fitbit of driving technology. Let me show you how it works. As a user, you can just install our apps and drive around like you normally do. With just the phone in your pocket and no external hardware, our apps automatically measure your driving, capturing how far you go, what hills you go up and down, what traffic you get stuck in, how aggressively you drive, and more. That data is combined with our proprietary system of vehicle physics models to predict what your fuel consumption, costs, and EV viability would be in any car that you're considering for your own driving. With your driving data, our physics models automatically compute what your sources and sinks of power and energy would be for any car that you're considering. Our library of physics models already includes over 16,000 cars, pretty much every car sold in the United States. In partnership with the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Agency, we've validated our approach with nearly 2 million miles of on-road data to show that our approach is more accurate than today's gold standard, the Federal Fuel Economy label. So with this technology, which we've secured an exclusive license for, we're able to serve the needs of the modern car buyer like none of the competitors can today. We're leveraging over 5 years of R&D conducted by top national lab scientists who had unique access to OEM automotive data. All of this has been productized into a fully functional MVP app that's already live and user tested, with over 1 million miles of user driving data collected to date. Let me show you what our apps look like today. With our apps, we coach users through their car buying process. We make money by helping our B2B clients engage with their customers, our car buying users. We have many different segments of customers who value our approach, but I'll focus on 3 in particular: mission-driven clients, auto vendors, and online auto retailers. Let's start with the first. For mission-driven clients, we apply our apps to help them build scalable programs to educate car buyers and ultimately choose cleaner cars. Without having any sales or marketing staff, our company has already secured over $1.4 million in contracts from high-profile clients like the federal government of Canada, the state of California, and Los Angeles County, who are actually paying us to build and deploy our solution. These customers love our approach so much that they actually want to keep paying for it each year. We have incoming contracts worth nearly $230,000 of annually recurring revenue. And what's exciting is that across the United States, there's nearly 3,000 organizations with similar goals for accelerating the adoption of greener cars. These clients can give us a stable revenue foundation and a channel to reach users, ultimately allowing us to reach our next stage of growth with auto vendors, like dealers, insurance providers, and financing firms. In the United States, there's nearly 60 million new and used cars sold every year. It's an enormous market. We've already got the price points on willingness to pay by these vendors to actually connect with our car buying users. So through a bottoms-up market calculation, this is a $14 billion annual market opportunity. With our apps, we've been carefully testing our entry into this market. We've measured our costs of user acquisition and seen that we can repeatably acquire users for $5 each through targeted digital advertising. We've also observed network effects where our users and customers end up referring other users. We've measured that 9% of our users actually take actions in our app requesting to connect with car dealers. And we've established contracts with nationwide networks of dealerships so that we can connect our car buying users with nearby dealers. So through the measurements we've taken, we've actually constructed a bottoms-up model of our company's revenue opportunities. Through our strategy, we're pursuing an $85 million annual run rate within the next 5 years. We're fundraising to accelerate our growth towards this opportunity. Now, the online auto retail industry is massive. It includes players that are offering varying degrees of personalized car buying advice at different scales of operation. We've got car review and rating sites like Edmunds, car shopping sites like TrueCar, concierge car buying services like Costco's Auto Program, and of course, dealerships. But with our exclusive technology-enabled approach for personalizing the car shopping process, we can cater to the needs of the modern car buyer like none of the competitors can today. We actually know we're onto something because we've been in deep discussions with senior leadership at some of the industry giants in this industry, who actually want to white label our technology to help them drive engagement with their users. So what at first seems like a crowded, competitive landscape actually ends up being a really exciting set of opportunities to secure either customers or even outright acquirers of our company. Just within this year, we've already been approached by 3 different companies who have initiated M&A conversations with us. So we know it's time to move fast. That's why we're opening up a fundraise. We plan to spend $1.5 million to reach our next stage of growth. We've already got $1 million of capital in hand, and so we're raising $500,000 of angel investments. With these funds, we plan to accomplish 3 things. First, in product development, we'll be hiring two designers and 3 software engineers to evolve our product. Second, we'll be collecting KPIs on user engagement and monetization on 10,000 users. We'll spend about $50,000 on digital ads in the process. And third, we'll be monetizing our users towards our next $1 million of revenue through vendor lead generation. With these milestones accomplished, we'll be ideally positioned either for our Series A institutional raise to drive our next stage of growth, or for an outright acquisition by one of the industry giants. Now let me tell you why we're the team that can pull this off. As a principal investigator at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, I personally led the team that developed our technology and apps. At Berkeley Lab, I built a $15 million R&D program from scratch and supervised over 40 technical staff. I have over a decade of experience in the automotive industry. And my co-founder, Adrian, is an experienced product professional. Adrian's experience in the EV industry is amazing. He helped the EV manufacturer, Lucid Motors, close their $1 billion Series D round. Our company has recruited top leadership talent and advisors with expertise in operations, design, software engineering, and go-to-market execution. We're part of some of the country's top enterprise and clean tech accelerators. But beyond our credentials, what unifies our team is our passion for driving the uptake of greener cars. We're looking for investors who share this passion and who want to help us sprint towards the massive revenue opportunity before us. If that's you, then let's chat. Thank you.
Congratulations to each of you as you wrap up your time here at Cal Poly and head off to the next chapter in your life. You will take with you not only a memory filled with fun and friendship, but you'll take with you a Cal Poly education that will serve you well. On behalf of the Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, congratulations and best wishes. We look forward to seeing you again soon and sharing stories of your many successes. From all of us at the CIE, congratulations, class of 2020. Yay!
We are so grateful for the hard work our interns have put towards the CIE SBDC for the past 4 years and are excited to see what they do next. Great job on your pitch, Sam. And now last but not least is Charlotte Maumas, CEO and co-founder of Memris.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Maumas, the CEO of Memris. We believe that it's time that we use our smartphones to their full potential. Mobile devices have transformed the way that we conduct work, from productivity to collaboration, especially for the 70% that don't work behind a desk. And while this trend isn't new, what is different is that companies are starting to shift their applications to mobile. enabling their employees to work from one platform. Deloitte predicts that by 2028, the majority of the workforce that doesn't work behind a desk will be 100% mobile. But are devices ready? No. Sure, our phones can be as powerful as computers, and they can cost as much as laptops. But do you want to work from your phone? Do you want to be editing a document or writing a 20-page proposal? Of course not. It's headache-inducing, and your fingers get in the way. But Memris has the solution to make our phones as productive as laptops without the need for additional hardware. That's because we're throwing out a decades-old technology that was force-fit to our phone screen. Let me explain. The user interface, or UI, that you use when you're interacting with your phone, when you're scrolling through photos, when you're typing, that interface wasn't designed to be used with fingers. It was actually created for desktop computers 40 years ago. It's called the point-and-click interface. It relies on a physical mouse and a physical keyboard. It doesn't rely on fingers. At Memris, we're designing an interface that completely rethinks how you interact with your phone to maximize the potential of the small screen. And what makes our technology different is that we've decoupled the screen so your fingers are no longer a deterrent. And that allows us to optimize for accuracy and efficiency. So we know that people aren't going to completely stop using their laptops, but there's an inevitable convergence coming. More people own smartphones than laptops. Gen Z and Alpha are already mobile first. Eventually, we're going to get to a point where people are comfortable working from a smaller screen. It's like how I never thought I'd be watching TV or movies from my phone. To prove that Memris is the solution, we're putting our UI to the ultimate test. We're targeting a group of 23 million professionals who can't even fathom working from a phone. And there's nothing on the market that they even want to use. And that's computer programmers. Not only is this market vast, it's exploding amongst Gen Z and Alpha, and in emerging markets. And we've spoken with programmers, and we know that half want to be able to code from their phones because they want to be able to get projects done when they're not by a computer or fix bugs when they're on the go. So let me show you how Memris can be the solution for this part of the workforce.
Hi, we're Memris. We believe you can do big things with your small screen, even programming. Yep, code accurately and efficiently on your phone. Want to see how it works? See that space at the bottom? Let your fingers shine. No more wishing for transparent thumbs. Use small gestures to navigate with ease. Peruse, preview, select, and rename your files. Hate scrolling through dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of lines of code? Go directly to your place without scrolling. Tired of wishing you had styluses for fingers? Select a region accurately on the first try. Why use desktop drop-down menus that you point and click and place your cursor in its spot without your fingers getting in the way, no matter how much text? Use those same gestures to do everything. What about typing with your eyes closed? Let your muscle memory do the work. Commuting or laying in bed fixing a bug? You can have the screen however you want, horizontal, vertical, with one finger, or two. Our UI is flexible enough for complex features too. Was that your jam? Then become an early tester. Sign up at memris.com if you're ready to do big things with your small screen.
And we know programmers want Memris. We have 170 testers signed on because they see the potential. And with our video, social presence, and thought pieces, we've garnered more than 200,000 impressions, all before having a product on the market. In terms of the product that we're designing for programmers, it's going to be a cross-platform SaaS application that reinvents how they're doing their development environment on mobile, and it uses our UI. We're also going to be giving programmers cloud access to the offline resources they're already using. But Memris doesn't just want to solve for one part of the workforce. We want to empower everyone to be able to conduct work from their phones. In addition to 100% mobile employees, Memris has the chance to disrupt multi-billion-dollar industries. There's business travel, with travelers hating to lug around multiple devices. And pre-pandemic, that was a $25 billion industry. And then there's the incoming workforce of Gen Z and Alpha, who are going to expect to be working from their mobile device. And that's a $44 billion industry. Members can also create new opportunities, like for emerging markets. Households that if they have any device at all, it's a smartphone. And with access to a smartphone comes remote employment opportunities. And then COVID-19 has shone a light on the fact that we need to improve remote learning. Members could be the solution for households that don't have access to a tablet or a laptop and only have a smartphone. So because members can help so many people, our larger business goal is to have members be the standard UI that comes on mobile devices. And to get there, we have a strategic multi-phased approach, including starting with programmers. We'll then move on to be a solution for a whole class of desktop software that hasn't been able to replicate for mobile because the workflow is too complex. So think business documents like PowerPoint, or editing graphics, or editing audio. We'll license Memris as a developer toolkit to these companies so their teams can build or update their mobile applications to incorporate our UI so their consumers can use with ease. Because we're reaching out to both B2B and B2C customers, we have two go-to market strategies. We already know that programmers are interacting with us on Instagram, so we're going to continue leveraging social and digital advertising, along with PR. And to reach our B2B clients, we'll do that through direct sales and partnerships, and through speaking opportunities and trade shows to position Memris as a leader in mobile UI. So with this strategy in place toward our billion-dollar TAM, and with a full team in place so we can get our program product on the market while simultaneously building out our developer toolkits for B2B, we can calculate being profitable by the end of 2023. And we're the team to get us there. It's because we have 25 years of combined expertise in software engineering, partnerships, strategy, and marketing. My co-founder and CTO, Zach Michaels, has spent his career as a programmer. He's contributed to the Linux graphics stack, and most recently was a C++ specialist at Oblong Industries in LA, where they rethink UI for larger screens. In fact, John Underkoffler, a founder of Oblong, is one of our advisors. And if you're not familiar with John, he's been rethinking UI for decades, from creating the interface in the Minority Report to his dozens of talks. It's no wonder that if you Google innovative UI, you get John. Our other advisors are David Jansen, who's co-founded Squid Notes and brokered partnerships with Google, and Odin Holmes, an in-demand programming influencer and speaker. And I spent my career in marketing communications, most recently as vice president of a New York City firm, where I was leading strategy for some major players like Amazon, Johnson & Johnson, and Mondelez International. I have experience producing 360 campaigns, negotiating partnership deals, scaling teams, and getting new products to market. But maybe you're wondering, okay, so why haven't the bigger companies with bigger teams come out with a new type of mobile UI? Well, that rethink would mean substantial, expensive changes, and they look for others to push the boundaries. So for instance, Google didn't develop Android, they bought it. Amazon didn't develop the tech behind Alexa, they bought it. And speaking of speech recognition, that's not going to be a mobile UI solution either. Telling Siri to select the text to the left of the comma at the top third of the page isn't productive and it's not efficient. In terms of our timeline, we're currently on our third prototype. We've conducted research with over 100 on-the-go professionals and programmers, and we began live one-on-one testing. We filed an expedited full patent this month, and next up is virtual testing, price value research, and we aim to have our B2C product on the market this winter. But to get us there, we need a full team in place, so we're seeking $350,000. This will allow us to grow our engineering team to get out to market quickly and prove that Memris makes our phones as productive as laptops. And in terms of what a potential exit could look like, our programming product could be purchased because the big guys are realizing that coding products equal big money, like when Microsoft bought GitHub for over $7 billion. And we know that they love mobile tech, like we saw Swipe being acquired for over $100 million by a media conglomerate. And because we know the big guys are looking for others to push the boundaries so then they can just buy them up, these three companies at the bottom here, you might not know their names, but you know Amazon Alexa. In order for our phones to be used to their full potential, we've got to shift away from a 40-year-old technology that wasn't designed for our fingers. Memris is ready to be a mobile game changer and to be the solution for tomorrow's mobile workforce. We're looking for partners who are ready to do big things with small screens.
Thank you to all our finalists for working so hard these past 6 months and taking the COVID-19 environment in stride. They were expecting to pitch live back in April and adapted to the new conditions, hunkering down with us to be ready for this virtual event. And it is so hard. Like, I'm not allowed to move my feet and it's killing me. So we want to thank them again for sticking with it, continuing to make progress on their pitches, and providing such spectacular presentations for us today. And now that you've seen all the startups pitch, the Audience Choice Award is open for voting. Information on how to cast your vote and donate to the GoFundMe campaign is on the screen right now. To cast your vote, exit out of full screen mode, press the escape button. On the YouTube page, look under the video for the event description, click the link under Audience Choice Award, enter the email you used to register on Eventbrite, click the blue Vote Now button, select your favorite company, save. Once you click Save My Vote, your vote will automatically be counted, and then you can log out. Voting will remain open for 30 minutes, right up until we announce the winner. You can find voting links and information below in the YouTube event description. We will also post links in the chat right now. And please remember, you can only vote once. After you've voted, head on over and donate to the GoFundMe campaign. We're currently at $690, and Pacific Premier Bank, our sponsor, is donating $1,000 from their sponsorship to support the GoFundMe campaign. So please keep it going, and we will give you a full tally very shortly. We'll be right back with our keynote speaker. So thank you, Erik, for being with us here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
So, but tell us, how did you get from the East Coast to the Bay Area, and give us some of the background to how that worked out?
Yeah, sure. So went to Europe for a little bit, came back, and I was a finance major out of college and was looking for financial positions in investment banking and consulting in New York City. Trade towers fell. First recession that I've gone through happened. So I had a bit of a existential crisis at 21 years old, and ended up moving down to Baltimore with some friends and became a bartender for a few years. And
that's what people do.
That's what people do when there's a recession.
When there's
by
a
the way.
crisis.
Yeah, or something. It's just like, hey, just try to find ways that to make ends meet. And for me, that was being a bartender. But after I started getting into that, and the economy started coming back, I started cold calling companies during the day, because job postings really weren't on the internet, right? Monster had just kind of been coming up, and so it was literally open up a phone book and calling and pitching companies that were local in Baltimore, and pitching myself. And finally one came in and said, hey, we love your pitch. We got these positions, and it was called PHH Arval, which was a division of Avis Rent-A-Car. And so it was fleet leasing, and I got into a position there that was a process consultant, when I was like 22, understanding processes. And I saw these guys on the 5th floor of the building, driving fancy cars, dating cute women. I was like, all right, what do I do? Where am I missing it here? I'm at this like lower level. They're like, those are all the sales guys. I'm like, all right, I want to be a sales guy. And so for me, it was everything to do with like understanding how do I get to that sales role. And so I went and came up with a business plan and just went to the CEO, and I was very ballsy and just said, hey, listen, this is what I want to be, is what I want to do, and I want to move to California. For me, it had everything to do with like really getting back. Yeah. And primarily it was because of my finance education and actually being educated by Chinese professors. All my professors were from Hong Kong, very conservative professors, and them trying to explain what was going on during this massive buildup of technology value. And I was like, man, they're making so much money out there, these companies, and they're literally not producing any revenue. Like, how do I get rich by not doing anything? Like, that sounds pretty good, right? So I got to make that wave. And obviously that had crashed.
Right.
But I knew I wanted to be out there because I knew that wave was going to come again.
Right.
And it did. And it actually did in 2011.
Right.
So I knew I wanted to catch that wave and be a part of that. So I got moved out and I started selling cars in the Bay Area. And then that didn't work out. I ended up moving into a company called Hilti that was a power tools and construction company based in Liechtenstein. And I wanted to become a country manager of this, of this company and selling power tools. And that was kind of through 2008, 2007, 2008, and that's the start of the next recession, right? So then the housing crisis happened, and we started dipping into the next recession. And during that time, I also started looking at, all my friends that were in the Bay Area in technology. And I was like, oh my God, all these guys, are having so much fun and making so much money. And they had all these stories about how like the golden era of 1994 through 2001 and how they just killed it. Like, I wanted to be like that, right? And I wanted to have that opportunity to make as much money as I could. And I'm driven by money, but it's more of like the goal that I had in place that I wanted to have in place for myself. And that was like, I'm more goal based. So I was like, I want to do this much and I want to do. So sales was a great role. I got into technology sales through careerbuilder.com, literally selling job postings during a recession. So. Wow. I'd moved now from selling cars to selling power tools to selling job postings.
So you finally got into that startup world.
But finally got into Career Builder,
right.
And that was like my entrance into technology and advertising and like where the cool kids played. And for me, it was really understanding how to build a scalable sales process methodology, understand how you actually take this technology to the workforce, and then I was selling HR solutions at that point.
So you were in that world for about 8 years. You saw some significant successes as you moved from one startup to the next. Let's accelerate a little bit because I think that what we're really interested in is understanding how you then made the jump from the Bay Area to San Luis Obispo. So you had Your last company was Text Recruit in the Bay Area.
Yep.
It got acquired.
Yep.
I'm guessing you worked your payout and then decided to come down.
Yeah.
So tell us, you founded Postal.io
Yep.
in basically in the fall of 2019.
Yep.
So what precipitated that move? And even more interestingly, you got into the offline engagement with customers.
Yep.
So you were immersed in tech, you came to Slow,
Yep.
you're building a company that maybe is offering a sort of a non-tech type of service.
Right.
How did that happen?
Yeah. So through my 20 years of being in sales and marketing, there's some things that you learn, right? You learn what works to increase your conversion across the funnel. And for me, it had everything to do with personalization and pattern interrupt. So how do you personalize your engagement with your prospects, and how do you provide pattern interrupt to where they're actually engaging with you differently than the way they engage with the other vendors that they're receiving calls from? And so a lot of that had to do with how you actually manage offline communication. And offline communication is direct mail, handwritten notes, gifts, donations on behalf of customers, sending them a sweatshirt, something. All those things I tried, and I realized there actually was no system of record or action that would help you scale that as a team. And where there was all of this, basically 15 years of technology in MarTech and sales tech built on digital. So you have emails, you have email automation, you have workflow automation, you have all these tools that have been built around digital, advertising platforms, all this stuff, billions and billions, like $50 billion industry. But nothing has addressed the offline piece. So for me, understanding about how that worked, and through my experience, and then technology companies understanding how to build, start, build, and scale a business, that had everything to do with where I ended up at Postal. But for me,
and that combined with at the end of the day,
Yeah.
your prior experience in sales, in hardcore sales, cars, power tools. I mean, that was probably the background that helped you kind of put all this together.
Yeah, I mean, selling during a recession is and selling assets that that are just heavily depreciated assets. Those things are very, you have to understand who your customer is, and you have to build relationships. And I understood that, but I also understood in building technology companies with Identified and Reich and Moxie and Text Recruit had everything to do with scalability and automation. And so all of that understanding is what brought me to Postal. And luckily as a repeat founder, capital becomes a lot easier after you've proven yourself a few times.
So tell us a little. That's the next question. So
yeah.
you brought together this sort of archaic,
it was
process
archaic,
as far as the relationship building with your customers.
Yep.
You added a layer of technology onto it to automate it and to be able to grow a scalable company.
Yep.
And then you had to go raise money.
Right.
So you launched in the fall. You're about 6 to 8 months out.
Yep.
You did close your first round of funding.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience.
So Text Recruit was prior to this, and Text Recruit was my baby. That me and one of my best friends started, where it was doing a very simple action and taking all emails off all communication from HR and recruiting from emails and making a text message, and becoming that platform where people can communicate the way that millennials had communicated and want to communicate. And that became a very successful business. We generated, we grew from 0 to 30 million in revenue. We exited at a nice number, and it was successful. But for me, it had everything to do with building relationships with the folks that I didn't have relationships with before. And that is like the VC capitalists, the attorneys, the advisors that are high-level CEOs in the Bay Area, and building the network that I needed in order to make sure that I could raise capital and then build credibility into myself. Because we went through a couple exits, and I was able to build my credibility as a sales leader, but as a founder, it's different because you have to manage all parts of the business. So for me, it had everything to do with building that credibility. Now that I had that credibility, it is easier. to raise capital after you do it multiple times. So I'm not saying like for
Did
everybody
you go
out there.
back to
I went back to everybody.
To your
yeah,
investors?
I just said, listen. I said, listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do. I've decided on this. And I went back to all the folks that I had engaged with, and there was a few that were pretty close with me that kind of saw me and Jed, my co-founder, as being like, okay, we got to follow these guys, and that's great when that happens.
So, do you believe they were investing in the team?
Yes.
Like more than they did. Did they even care what it was you were doing?
Yes, they do care about what you do.
Because you hear those stories, right?
Yeah.
Of investors like, okay, we trust this. This is a strong team.
Yeah.
You know, we have absolute trust in this team.
Mayfield is so Mayfield Fund is a top 5 VC.
Yeah.
It is an incredible organization that's been around for 70 years. They were initial investors in Atari. They went all the way through Lyft, and they've ServiceMax and Marketo and Outreach.io and all these amazing enterprise organizations that they've been able to be behind. And for us, it had everything to do with showing them how this plan that we developed, our operating plan that we've developed, that the offline platform that can be right and that can establish scalability in this offline world, just as Marketo did for the online world, and that Outreach.io did for the sales world, that we actually could be $1 billion company. And so, that was the sell on it, but they ultimately invested in me and Jed.
Right.
Because they
so
knew that we could execute.
you could prove that the market was there,
yeah.
The founders were there, the market was there. Do you think that their investment in Marketo maybe influenced the portfolio buildup?
Yeah. And that led to their. So Rajiv, who's our board member, he was on the early. So he's on the board of Marketo before the acquisition, during their initial investment with their. I think it was like their Series A. So he did their Series A at Marketo, and he rode that all the way through the Adobe acquisition. And then Manny, who was an advisor for me at Text Recruit, who founded a company called Outreach.io, which is now a unicorn out of Seattle. That Rajiv did, and that's a sales automation engagement platform. That Rajiv did that Series A and got into that. So his experience in understanding, okay, this is my digital footprint in sales and MarTech, and now Postal came along and he's like, oh my God, this is perfect for my offline. And he knows so much about the offline. And that's the important thing about raising capital is like money is out there. There's a ton of money to get out there. And I would say if you have a good idea, and you don't even have to be proven. If you have a good idea and a good plan and your plan to execute, and you've surrounded yourself with good people that have done it before, then you can get money. But the right money is the right money. Like, that's a lot more important.
It sounds like there's an amazing amount of interconnection with their experiences, with their startups and what you were doing, so they understood the market really well. They saw the opportunity for massive growth.
Yeah, and that's why we raised $9 million up front. I mean, that does not happen.
Right.
Like that's the largest A round ever to happen in slow. And so for me, it was like, and to go
congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
We're stoked to have you here in Slow. Yeah.
It had everything to do with being here in Slow. Yeah. It was a major decision for me and for my family to just say, we didn't want to be in the Bay anymore. It's like
Is there just too much noise?
It wasn't conducive to building a scalable operation in a capital efficient way anymore. And the talent level that was represented in the Bay Area, I believe, eventually would see the writing on the wall that, it's impossible to spend $3,000 on a one-bedroom apartment. And if you can work remote or move to somewhere else that actually will give you more work-life balance for your money you're making, that they're going to want to move. Yeah. And like for me, that was everything to do with Slow.
On that note, you've built up a team really, really fast, like a large team.
Yeah.
Tell us about what do you look for in talent? Are you still personally hiring every person that comes on board? How did you do your first hires? What were you looking for?
Yeah, so I am always involved with all hires, and I think that as a CEO and a founder, you need to be involved with every single hire up into 1,000 people.
1,000 people.
I think you have to be dead on, have to have a relationship with every single person. And Manny will tell you the same thing, and the guys that founded Marketo will say the same thing, is that you need to trust the people that come in. And so foundationally, yes, we built a great team, but we did that through referrals. And so we were able to establish a couple key hires for us that actually drove a lot of our hires here. I didn't know anybody in SLO when I came down here. I just said, I want to be there. It's halfway in between LA. It's halfway in between LA and San Francisco. Like, I can drive to either ports. I can recruit people from those areas. But most importantly, it's half the cost personally, and it's a quarter of the cost from a real estate perspective.
So how many people do you have on your team right now?
We have 30.
And are they all here on location?
They're not they're not 100% here. We have 25 here, and then we have 5 remote. Before the whole COVID thing happened, we were committing at least 75% in SLO. But as other technology companies have started seeing that actually remote work is pretty doable, we're going to look to about 50-50 now. So we've dropped that local hires down to 50. But those positions that these people are coming into are high paying, powerful positions in a startup that is well funded, that is supported from a massive industry, from a main VC. So the people we've hired on this team have been just like I knew they were. They were here. They just were in other organizations, Sunrun and MindBody, and the different companies that have been here for the last 15 years. But it is. I think I'm a little bit of, and Postal is a little bit of like a test subject for a lot of my friends in the Bay Area who are entrepreneurs, because they're seeing.
Are they watching you?
Dude, they're like, what? Like, we can be in SLO too? Like, everybody knows SLO.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, if I could only work down there. That's why I always feel like, oh man, if I could only find work down there. I'm like, why is no one building businesses down here? There's more than enough real estate. There's more than enough developers. Like, it didn't make sense to me. And then the other thing was like, you can't raise capital in SLO. I'm like, I don't think that that's the case either. I think, you just don't have access to the resources and the connections that someone like myself do. But after this test works, because it will work, we will start to see more down here. And there's positives and negatives from tech companies.
Always, right?
In.
I mean,
ultimately, I think, especially in the times now, to where you have massive unemployment in services industries, that technology jobs need to be like, we need to get technology jobs here, because those jobs are going to drive this economy, this local economy here, where it's always been service-based. So that's my thought on it.
So far, what's been your most satisfying moment in building this business? Like, what tell us about the highs.
Well, Postal has been. Who launches a company during a pandemic? It's kind of like,
because you literally launched. We literally launched a month ago.
Yeah, we launched on May 4th.
Smack bang in the middle of COVID. Yeah.
And our PR company that we had hired was like, they're like, you just got to go. I was like, what do we do? Like, what do we do? They're like, listen, it's not going to get better over the next 6 months. So unless you want to like put the brakes on for 6 to 12 months and just like revisit this launch, then you do that. But for me, it had everything to do with launching now. So to answer your question directly, building the company, being in a co-working space here in SLO, and that was so much fun working in this, in this warehouse, in this co-working space. And just like having that, like, and then building, having your first couple folks come on board and start to build the product, and then you hire really good people, and then you move into your next loft. I think the funnest parts are actually when you graduate to those new real estate places. It's like you had this little space, and then we moved to the loft in this co-working space, and then from the loft we moved into our headquarters that are 5,000 square feet that are just beautiful.
Wow.
And so for us it had all to do with those, but. I think raising capital was number one, which was amazing, and being able to do that quickly was right, because you can't do it right now. Very difficult to do that right now. And I would say that launching the product, on last month, it just so happens that creating connections with customers in the B2B world is very difficult right now, because there's no more conferences, and there's no more handshaking.
How do you network? How do you connect?
So you have to do that by sending cards, and B2B needs to follow B2C. You got to have direct mail, you got to have gifts, you got to make sure that you're doing that at scale and reporting on that.
So in a weird, coincidental, serendipitous way, you launched it pretty much at the right perfect time. That's incredible. So what what keeps you up at night? What do you think is the biggest threat to the business? It sounds like everything's just so lined up, but is there something you worry about?
Yeah, top of the funnel budgets are down. So marketing budgets are down in B2B. There are industries that are dramatically hit by this recession we're in the midst of, that's happening.
What are the industries that you've seen the hardest hit from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, obviously transportation, entertainment, hospitality, all supply chains around those are just so drastically hit. And when you think about selling B2B, you're selling services, technology, assets, hardware. Those supply chains have just been dramatically hit that have been tied to those industries. So we've had to refocus to make sure that we're going after the right industries with the right message and the right personas. So yeah, it's not exactly how we drew it up of who we thought was going to be buying the product, but selling to technology companies that are now killing it, based on what's happening now, it's probably the right way to go. And that's
so
where
you
we're
did.
focused.
So you did have to do a pretty massive pivot as far as who your target market was just before launching.
It was we had to identify really, what was who had the most dramatic impact, who had the funds and the budget that wasn't going to be frozen. And you have to be very agile when you're, no matter what, even in a pandemic or recession that you're going through, you have to be, but anytime you have to be agile. And we had to make a core decision of moving from it's less of a pivot, more of a focus.
Right.
It's like, this is the industries we can go after. These are the people. No, let's go into these sectors. And so we found technology companies, business technology companies would be a good pivot for us, or focus.
Yeah. So as a wrap, Erik, because we do have to wrap up, but unfortunately, because this is such a great story, and we're so pleased to see you, having some good positive outcomes here based in SLO.
Yeah.
So for our fellow founders, fellow entrepreneurs out there that are launching, starting their businesses, what are the 3 top skills that you think they need to focus on and amplify and make sure that they're prepared with to be successful?
So I think number 1 is being a self-educator and
Constantly in
motivator.
learning mode.
You just have to understand where your weaknesses are and get better. You have to educate yourself, and there's so many resources to get better at. So I think that's number 1, just educate yourself. There's tons of resources out there. Second is, you are only as good as your network. Your network is everything. And they say that when you're in college, and it's like, going to Harvard is not just about the education, it's about your network. And that's absolutely true. So people that went to Shippensburg or went somewhere else, Cal Poly's got a great network as well. You got to make sure that you build that network, and that is a network that is better than you, that you can learn from. And I think 3 is that you got to make bets. You got to take risks. You have got to say, and have people around you that support you in those risks. I have 3 kids. I had 3 kids during all these startups that I was a part of. My wife was absolutely supportive of what I was doing, because she knew that if I didn't do this, I'd lose my mind. This is my passion. This is what I love. And you have to have people that support you, and you can take those risks. So
awesome. That's a great wrap. Thank you. Thanks, Erik. And thanks again for being here. Awesome talking with you today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And if you'd like to network with Erik, he will be available via Zoom after the event. So you can also find his link below in the event description. And we now have been informed that the voting for the Audience Choice Award is closed. We will announce the winner in a few minutes. Thank you to everyone who voted. And I would also like to take the time to thank all of our vendors and staff who made this virtual event possible. Thank you to Slow Brew the Rock. Awesome setup. We had a great time using their space. Thank you to Finest City Entertainment. You don't see them, but I have 10 people here in front of me who are doing just an insane job at pulling all these pieces together to make sure we're having a fun event today. And of course, all of our staff and interns. Thank you to Liz Fisher, Olivia Van Hoy, Lexi Cox, Nicole Elliott, Kyle Crooks, and everyone else on the team. Thank you so much. Just great, great teamwork today. Now, please welcome the top 6 startups. We're going to try and get them all back onto our screen. We're logging them in as we speak. And they're going to take part on a virtual stage, and we will be announcing the Audience Choice Award. The votes have just been counted. I have the final tally. The amount raised on the GoFundMe campaign is $1,740. And congratulations to Baby Barista. Woo! You've won $1,740 today through the GoFundMe campaign. Thank you so much to all of you who donated. Really, really appreciate the support. So, before we announce the winner of the AngelCon $100,000 investment, we would like to remind everyone that after the live stream ends, each of the top 6 finalists and our keynote speaker again will be available through video chat to network and answer questions. Instructions on how to do this will stay on the screen after the event. You can click on the links that are below in the YouTube event description, and we will also post all the information in the chat right now. So, we are still working on bringing our startups back onto the virtual stage. Hopefully, I'm going to receive a green light any second. And before I announce the winner, we do have another surprise announcement for the finalists. This year, we were able to get 24 investors on board, and we actually were able to raise $120,000 in this fund, in Fund 3. So we're very excited to announce that the winner will in fact receive $120,000. So the moment we've all been waiting for, the winner of AngelCon 2020 is Atlas Alpha. Congratulations, Trent. You have won $120,000. Woo! Good job, Trent. We're so proud of you. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you all for attending AngelCon 2020. And please stay online. Please listen to the interview again. Please go into the chat rooms, network with the founders. We appreciate so much you taking the time to support these amazing entrepreneurs and our local business community. A huge thank you to our event sponsors, Pacific Premier Bank, Slow Seed Ventures, Relentless Management, and Entrada Ventures. Oh, Trent is online. Yay. Okay, Kyle, thank you. So we now have Trent live. He's going to be able to say a few words. Trent, congratulations. We're so stoked for you. You've just won $120,000. How do you feel?
I'm so excited, and I very much appreciate all the work that's been done with my due diligence team. And me and my co-founder Phil and our team are excited to get to work growing this company and doing something that we're passionate about in a way that impacts the world in a way. So we're excited and looking forward to working with the AngelCon Fund and the great people that we've been working with so far already. So looking forward to the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Trent. Thank you so much. And it's so wonderful to be able to continue supporting you. And I can't wait to see what the next few months, next 12 months bring for Atlas Alpha. Good job. So we'll see you all soon. Please stay tuned. There will be an AngelCon 2021. We will keep doing this event. We're so thankful for everyone who participated, supported, got involved. Please have fun in the chat rooms and continue networking and have fun, continue enjoying the evening. We'll see you all very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.